make that fertilizer affordable to the farmers?
Yeah, well, I think what's important is to ensure that we actually have a reliable railway system. It's the only way to actually reduce costs of transportation. You cannot be efficient in any manner, shape, or form transporting fertilizers in 20-ton lots. It doesn't make any commercial sense anywhere else in the world. So we must, that's so important for us. One of the things that one of the initiatives that we're actually pursuing, I've had discussions with the Minister of Agriculture, I've also had discussions with the Minister of Transportation, is actually to link Notori to the railway line. It just takes no more than about 16 kilometers from where we are to link us to the Port Harcourt railway line that can take our products all the way down to the north. It's a very simple project. With such linkage, we should be able to drop the cost of transportation by at least 30 or 40%, probably more. You transfer that benefit to everybody that creates value along that value chain. So some of the distributors take some of that. The ultimate result is that the price is reduced substantially to the farmer. We also have to make use of our waterways, and in making use of our waterways, you have the River Niger. You can actually move, of course, after all the dredging exercises have taken place there, you should be able to actually move products at least halfway up the country and then distribute from there. So but the most important factor we need to look at is how to effectively use our railway system. It is the only way to reduce the cost of fertilizers to the farmers ultimately. Fertilizer, transportation is over 25 to 30% of the cost of fertilizers getting in the hands of the farmer. The farmers today are still experiencing some of the lowest yields in the world. They're not using as much fertilizer. They're dealing with adulterated products because the channels are not properly controlled by distributors, or should I say, by suppliers into the market. Then, upon all of that, to then deal with expensive material that is actually, in most cases, not delivering the economic value. So we really need to attack that problem and resolve this and get our railway system working effectively.
Thank you very much. I want to come back. Of course, we have been talking about natural gas and nitrogen fertilizer, which is nearly 60% of the compound fertilizer that is used. Now we want to talk about the phosphate and the potash, which are two other nutrients which are vital for plant growth. And we just heard from Mr. Dangote about your comment for interacting with Togo, which has phosphate deposit. Now, what are the plans you have in terms of getting access to the phosphate, because 60% of the world known phosphate deposit is in Africa. You have West Africa, you have North Africa. Morocco is the largest reserves of phosphate. What are the plans to have joint venture, so to say, with those to access phosphate, which is so important?
Well, thank you very much. We're actually trying to do a joint venture with the Republic of Togo. One of the things that they are going to do is to give us the mining rights as part of their contribution. They are not really interested in more than 10%. Right now, we're working on it because I'm also on the advisory board of the investment, company, which owns all their assets, and that's part of the assets. So we're trying to try and do something at an arm's length, deal. If we do that, then we'll be able to. That's why we actually took the fertilizer from Edo to move it to Olakola, where we can have a deep sea port, so we can actually bring it in, bring the phosphate and also have the oil chain. But in terms of reduction of cost, I think cost is relative. The cost can also be reduced depending when there's enough capacity. If there's enough capacity, definitely the cost will actually, move around. Right now, there are quite a lot of, transporters who are transporting fertilizer, and they are charging an arm and a leg. And I'm sure if you do it, you can manage to transport, you can actually charge your fee to be much, much smaller. I mean, today in cement, what we did is that anywhere in the southern part of the country, doesn't matter from where we are taking the cement out of our factories, but we guarantee to have, instead of before, people were paying 400 naira per bag to transport cement, and the price was 1,300. So you can see 400 naira is almost like about 25% or so, or 30%. But right now we have guaranteed people that, look, we will charge you only 100 naira per bag anywhere in the southern part of Nigeria. So if you want cement in Agua, even though I don't have a factory there, I can deliver it at 100 naira. These are the sort of things that we believe we will be able to, put on the table. That's number one. Number two, when you look at it today, really, you don't have any big transportation company. Railway will come, but it's not going to come right away. It is going to take a little bit of time. I mean, today we operate about almost 8,000 trucks. So by 8,000 trucks is to carry product of 20 million tons of this. So 2.8 million tons plus maybe Notoria and others, 5 million tons, is not going to be difficult to actually, distribute. And one of the things that people have to be careful is double handling. Double handling in Nigeria costs a lot of money. If you are going to now, people are talking about taking it through the River Niger. The cost of taking it from your factory to that river is equivalent to taking it direct into the market. Because people will charge you a lot of money. So we have to devise a system of how we are going to cut down the price. And the more gas we have, the better gas price, because the real cost of fertilizer is actually the gas price. If the gas price is right, definitely the price will be low. And if there's a lot of it here locally and we have external market, the issue of manufacturing is mainly having a lot of fixed cost. It's like an airline business. If you can only sell 60 seats out of 100, then your cost is higher. But then it means that when you carry the local 60 seats, the remaining 40 seats, you can give them at even 50% discount, and you still make quite a lot of money. So it means that if you have external market to export, it can help to drive down your local price. So these are the issues that we're looking at.
Thank you very much. Now I want to go to another element which I think is very important. As you develop the petrochemical complexes, the fertilizer complexes, the issue of the environment and the issue of the safety. And I want to pose a question to Mr. Mundra in terms of, when you're building the new thing, what are the measures being put in place for the environmental protection and also the safety part of it? I bring up safety because just about 4 months ago, there was a huge explosion in the state of Texas in the United States, which has tremendous devastation within about 4 miles radius. And given that as a backdrop, what are the measures that are being put in place in the new complex that you are setting up?
On this, first thing is important to understand about that explosion. That plant was more than 55 years old. Today we are in the world where the technologies have grown fast in terms of environmental measures, in terms of safety measures. The technologies what we are using world class. And what that plant was using and was running was, they were producing ammonium nitrate, which itself is an explosion. And here we are dealing in urea. And 50 years on, the technologies have changed. That's one point. Second, with the global awareness of environmental issues, and when we seek international funding in projects of this stature, where we are seeking funds for $1.5 billion, we have international funding agencies like IFC, AFC, AFDB, and other European banks and lenders. When they come on the table of the consortium, they ensure and they do their own environmental due diligence before they even approve the project. And that gives us a certification, and that gives us the roadmap and the rules and regulations which we need to follow in setting up these plants. So there are automatic checks and balances. Beside this, the Ministry of Environment here have